Welcome to this video, and today I want to talk about unveiling the spiritual nature of time, i.e. getting past this illusion that time is linear, is actually in cycles, which is a really difficult concept to actually talk about because our limited brain capacity can't actually get into that. Now, why would I have any authority on talking about this? Is I have had actually 2 out-of-body experiences, and it's pretty intense when you're out of your body. Intense is the wrong word. It's bliss, just pure bliss. But it's quite incredible to let go of the confines of this material body to get out into the actual existence that we live in, that is timeless. There's no time. There's no. It's unusual. So I'll try and explain it. I think Bashar does a really good job when he talks about like those old cine cameras with the celluloid film, where you got each scene for the movie, and the movie's actually linear, so that's how we're experiencing our timeline of linear. But inside the video camera, all of those moments are in the same place at the same time, not moving. So you can choose to go in to each one of those timelines, which is what we can do when we incarnate into this linear, illusory material world. We can choose where we go in as a timeline, if there's a space. It might be a queuing system, I don't know. There's many different theories on that, and I find them all interesting. But to know exactly what it is, I find that a little bit not sure, right? Because I think you can channel stuff from the astral realm, which is all actually corrupted, and so you can be told, well, this is how it is, or this is how it is. But this is how our reality is. I feel this is what it is. Having this out-of-body experience, it kind of explains it nicely for me. I like to look at it also, if you can imagine just space, and you have all these cycles. You know, sometimes you see videos with just loads of cycles, the big one, little ones. There's quite a few of them on the internet now in spiritual videos. So if you imagine that space with all these cycles, so in the Vedas they talk about Brahma. Brahma's having an enormous cycle, which one of his cycles is millions and millions of years. And then one of our little cycles, what, 100 years if we're lucky, 120 years, tiny compared to his cycle. So you've got all these cycles happening at the same time, not even moving, it's just the finger makes the circle, not even moving. So you can choose to come in at any point on this cycle, on this tiny little cycle that we're on at the moment. Or in the Brahma one, if you're a creator like Brahma from the Vedas, you're on an enormous cycle. So we can look at that in the way that, say, the dragonfly lives a few days or whatever, not very long at all. We've got cats and dogs that live, what, 15 years, 20 years. We live 60, 70, 80 years. Our cycles are relatively short compared to some of these cycles. So we're experiencing a linear timeline moment by moment, but it's an illusion. Why is it an illusion? So if you think about when you're doing something that you really love doing, so writing, some people love to write, or they love to write songs, or they love to create music either on the computer or with a band. How quickly does time go then? Flashes by, right? So yeah, of course it does. Or say if you're sitting there bored, you've got nothing to entertain you, maybe you're stuck in a room or a waiting room, you haven't got your phone with you or anything like that, and you're just sitting there and you're watching the clock go. How slow is time then? It slows down. So time is either an illusion or it's bendable. You can shape time. So in the material world, you can shape time. You can make it go quicker, you can make it go slower. It depends on your mindset. Just explain that really. But on the bigger concept of it, the spiritual concept of it, outside of this material realm, time doesn't actually exist So that's why you can come in at different times of this cycle, and it'll be different cycles. So you'll have one cycle, I think we're on the 7th cycle of the yugas now. We're coming out of the Kali Yuga, which is the Iron Age, the Dark Age, and it certainly is dark in the world at the moment. Coming into the Sattva Yuga, the Golden Age, and you can see that with all these grass shoots and all these highly sensitive people. About 30% of the world, about 1% of them are now on a spiritual path. Really, it would be great if more people were to actually start to become more spiritual inside themselves, and you need a process for that, which is why I love what I do, because in my Qigong classes, really we're learning to activate the lower Danjon. That is your basis for your physical world, which will move you up the Danjons into the physical world, which is your upper Danjon. So the lower Danjon is where your power, your passion, your creativity comes from, and it gives you the grounding, the floor from which you can elevate yourself from, to your middle Danjon, which is your heart, your love, your empathy, your compassion, so you can come into unconditional love, which is a very difficult concept for most people to see or feel or even experience. And then you can come up to the upper Danjon, where your wisdom, your intuition, your vision, you see way past the veil of this material world, and you can see why it is. And then people will ask you, well, there can't be any God because of this or because of that, and you're going, who knows about God? But there's free will on this planet, so you can see why free will has turned this all completely crazy in this Kali Yuga, because there's no longer any principles to keep yourself on your spiritual path. Religions have come and grabbed hold of everything, and now that grip is releasing. So Qigong helps you to connect the Chun energy, the intuition, vision and wisdom, with your Ji energy, which is your lower Danjon, the earth energy, which is your power, your passion, your creativity, with the Yin energy, which is your love, your empathy, your compassion. So in the Vedas they call it Shiva falling, Shakti rising, meeting in the heart. So this is the Brahman, the creator in your lower Danjon, Vishnu in the middle Danjon, and Shiva in the upper Danjon. So the creator, the embracer and the destroyer. So your mind needs to be destroyed so that you can see past the veil, because you have so many preconceptions stuck in your body with all the old emotions, feelings and thoughts that we gather through our lives that should be moving. Emotions, energy in motion, that should be moving across your body, not being stuck in the body. So that's how you get into your spiritual path. It's a cycle. When you start to see it's a cycle, you're going, well, my life feels like a cycle now. I'm stuck in this cycle. I'm overwhelmed. I feel emotionally exhausted. I'm unhappy with all of this. I'm going to break that cycle. You break the cycle, you get into another cycle where other things may be problems. And then when you start to spiritually master yourself, cycles become easier to break. And then you can actually actualize your life quickly. So the thought becomes an action, the action becomes a process starts the cycle. That's how quick it can be. But if you're stuck with all this other stuff, it can be tricky. So I do all of that in the Bright Beans Academy, where we have Qigong and the Dream Method. So find the link around here or go to brightbeansacademy.com. Check out what we do. I look forward to seeing you there. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Be well and keep shining.